So we need to have a conversation about Transformers. Recently, the Paramount merger just finished, and the rumors that Michael Bay is in talks with Paramount to direct a new Transformers movie has been officially confirmed. So while it's still very much just a rumor, it is now an official rumor. With that being said, it's important to discuss a little something I talked about in an earlier video I made on my channel, pessimistically titled, "Michael Bay is not coming back." Now, this is still my position until I hear it from Michael Bay himself or from the studios that he is coming back to direct a new Transformers movie. But the point of this video is a bit more cautiously optimistic. So let's say he does return to direct a new Transformers movie. This could be a continuation of the classic Bay films, from 2007 to Dark of the Moon, the first trilogy, or, less likely but certainly possible, a sequel to the infamous Last Night movie. Or, more likely, a brand new Transformers movie serving as another reboot in this franchise. Now, while this itself is a speculation and is totally a different conversation to be had on another day, I'm focused today on one key aspect of the Michael Bay films that were objectively great and universally appreciated, although is never spoken about enough. The music. The original score by Steve Jablonsky in the first 5 Michael Bay films, and the couple cues he wrote for Rise of the Beasts, are some of the most memorable film scores in existence. Till date, they absolutely made these movies what they were. Try listening to The Forest Battle or watching The Forest Battle without Steve Jablonsky's score, or any scene from Dark of the Moon or Age of Extinction. Steve Jablonsky makes cars turn into robots, and then those robots turn into heroes.
I can't be any clearer on how crystal clear I am being.
If Michael Bay returns to direct whatever type of Transformers movie he wants, it better have Steve Jablonsky doing the film's soundtrack. We have seen time and time again how underwhelming the musical score for Transformers movies have been ever since he's left. And for all those who tell me Brian Tyler can replace him, he's just as good. No, he is not. And I'm sick and tired of pretending. There is no variety in Brian Tyler's Transformers work. The guy has nothing to say with his music for Transformers. That's my honest opinion. In fact, he used the exact same theme that he made for Transformers Prime, the TV show, in Transformers 1, in more than a few instances. And those two movies clearly aren't even connected. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, produced by Michael Bay. The first film was Brian Tyler. The second film was Jablonsky. I much prefer the score by Jablonsky for TMNT. We've seen Steve Jablonsky reinvent his music within the same universe for each Transformers film in the franchise. 2007 sounds like a classic Hollywood film score. Revenge of the Fallen sounds very mystical and ancient. Dark of the Moon sounds so sci-fi, cybernetic, and honestly just dystopian. Age of Extinction, very primal and soulful. And The Last Night, which is personally my favorite score of all of them, it sounds completely different from any of the other 4 movies, despite still having that brilliant Transformers feel that we all love. Now, it's important to note, I'm not saying variety equals brilliance. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. You still have to have a sort of knack for these things. You still have to have taste. Know when and where to put the music, what kind of music, what's the subtext you're going to bring out in the score. And in my opinion, I feel Steve Jablonsky does all of these things perfectly, especially when he works on Transformers films. Even in Rise of the Beasts, the 2 cues that Steve Jablonsky wrote were honestly the best ones. He even took the Maximal theme and made it much better. Like, the Maximal theme, I really love in Jablonsky's cues. It sounds much better than in any of the other cues. In fact, just a little plug here. I actually rescored the entire opening to Transformers Rise of the Beast with my own original music, as well as a particular Jablonsky theme on my channel. It is a completely different take on that scene, honestly, from a more Jablonsky school of thought. So do check it out after this video and let me know what you guys thought, because I do think the movie, had it been scored that way, would have been far more enjoyable and honestly would have been a bit more soulful. Going back on topic, I know if Steve Jablonsky is invited on board for another Transformers movie, whatever it is, he's gonna nail it. And I think it would be a fatal miscalculation on Michael Bay's part if he thinks he is the sole reason for Transformers working as well as it did back in the day. I'm not saying Michael Bay thinks that, I'm just saying he shouldn't. Now, I understand all of this is just speculation, and Michael Bay could bring back Steve Jablonsky and we can all hold hands and sing Kumbaya, but Michael Bay is working with a new writer on this film, Jordan Van Dina, and this guy's prior works are Dodgeball 2 and Cocaine Hippos. I haven't seen these films. I've never heard of them before, and I'm not about to go watch them either. Let's just say that Ehren Kruger was brilliant at what he did, and he absolutely should be the guy to go to if you want to make $1 billion at the box office. Case in point, he wrote 3 of the Bay Rumours movies and Top Gun Maverick and this year's F1. Need I say any more? But I digress.
One crisis at a time.
So if Michael Bay decides not to bring back Jablonsky, which looks likely considering he's clearly wanting to try something new, can he find someone just as good as Jablonsky in this economy? Who's to say? I wish I could tell you that most any Hollywood composer working today would suffice, but the scores in Hollywood lately have been very ambient and more focused on sound design and sonic textures and just cheap nostalgia than making great original melody lines. You can't sing texture. Anyway, I just wanted to make this video to put it out there because I see little to nobody talking about it. There are absolutely factors other than just Michael Bay behind the camera that will give us a better chance of recapturing that magic from the early 2000s. But what do you guys think? Is a Transformers movie without Steve Jablonsky's music something you feel optimistic about? Especially considering this whole thing is a reaction to how poorly the last 3 movies performed at the box office, not to mention they had 0 cultural impact. To quote TLK, without leaders, chaos reigns. I think a lot of people in the Transformers fandom, especially online, they live in this little bubble called domestic box office. They'll be like, oh, Bumblebee and Transformers 1 and Rise of the Beast was really good. We loved it, but that was not the consensus worldwide. The box office doesn't lie. It tells you who showed up. Things like, I don't care about the score. I just care about the plot, the story, the explosions. Guess what? It was never about the explosions. These movies didn't do as well as they did because of the explosions. If that were the case, so many other movies have great explosions in them. It's not just Michael Bay. So many movies have great action sequences in them, but what they don't have is Steve Jablonsky. So let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Exciting times, huh?